take the chains off a little bit in terms of the 1v1 map. It'll hopefully, you know, help improve as well. But no, he's gonna be really confident this weekend, especially since he's just been performing so well on that.
Yeah, and you got to think too, in front of a crowd like this, home turf, like there's even that little bit of added extra pressure, right? Again, that's these situations are so complex. I know sometimes you can kind of look at a situation like this, well, yeah, top 25, easy or whatever, upper bracket, lower bracket, finals, okay, cool. But the more you just start to dissect and really dive into these little tiny details, it just very quickly gets out of control. Now, of course, like we said, this is the halfway point. 3 games left to go. Boys, if you had to give advice to these duos, outside of that bubble, what's the advice?
I think stick to what you know for this next game. You don't want to try anything too crazy. But if it does come down to those final 2 games, even the final game, go for hype. The meta allows for it. Although it is messy, you could be that team that takes height and wins the game. We saw it with Sky and Scroll, but jumping up 30 places. For the teams that are just outside here, probably not worth it, but just try something different, try something new, because yes, you do have day 2, but you want to get it done now.
Mini says, stick to what you know.
Here we go.
I say, pick up your game plan, rip it up, and try something new. Let's go crazy. Let's get wild with it. You know, you only need the 2 good games.
Okay, well, Levin, it's time to find out which plan they're going with, because the next game is ready for us. So, Captors, over to you.
Hey, I'm right there with you, Levin. I think you gotta tear the original game plan to pieces at this stage, Vivid, because they don't have much time left to work with. It's only 3 lobbies, and the margins are very slim for error right now.
I'm sticking with Mini Miner. I've said it multiple times before. I like sticking to what you know.
What if it doesn't work, though? What if you're in that Game 5, Game 6 situation?
Yo, who wants to watch FNCS?
And really leave no regrets behind, because at the end of the day, there's nothing to lose.
Holy shit.
So let's jump right in.
Probably one of the names that sticks out most, though, from during that halftime segment, Clix and Higgs. Sitting in that 35th position currently, just outside of the top 25. Granted, Sky and Scroll have already proven one good match, one strong elimination counter can change course entirely and catapult you to that threshold you need to just go straight to finals.
Yep, now we got another team joining back into the mix. They may have left at least 1 game before, but Mini Pio and Fukun are back at Sandy Strip. So we're back on over to our triple contested fight. Interesting enough, it really hasn't affected Kanata and Victor V on that other side.
Yeah, taking their quadrants there. Quick little peek over here towards Wonky Land. Clix and Higgs, they got to be feeling the pressure. During the halftime, I got the opportunity to talk to Clix, and he was like, yeah, we're fully aware of the situation. It feels like Shark and Teeny are already qualified. They can pretty much do whatever they want to us right now because they got to be feeling comfortable.
And that's exactly where Shark and Teeny are headed. It is setting up home base here in Wonkyland to try and prevent Higgs and Clix from having those comeback measures. Still, job's not finished. You have to remember that because of the lower bracket's existence, nothing is necessarily solidified just yet. You still have tomorrow, worst case scenario.
Yeah, and while you have nothing to lose, don't want to give up on those opportunities. Vote and Fringe just outside of the bubble as well. Contested fight against Visual and Braids. Both of these teams performed phenomenally on their respective regions, but when you're in a contested fight like this that honestly made some changes before the Summit land, and they weren't necessarily the best for a contested fight, so you really got to go ahead and get all of the loot to yourselves.
I'm going to be a hawk when we're taking a look at all these POVs. As we do take a look towards the elimination feed, Cole does go down, but on the screen, we've got Vocal, we've got Fringe, both picking up their respective eliminations, and that's going to be a clean wipe for them. An 8-point swing is going to put them on 50 points, and when we were taking a look at the leaderboard, right, that 25th place threshold was right around there, so that's going to be helping them out tremendously.
Well, it looks like a decent amount of teams that weren't necessarily faring the best here have already decided to try and switch things up, but Clix, Higgs still entangled here with Shark and Teeny, who have decided to just take the fight straight to them. They want to be direct. They've had so much success in these past two lobbies. The moment that they've instantly tried to collapse, but now it's Shark, 100 pump. That's going to be all of his shield. He has to fall back. He's waiting for Teeny to take the reins here, but Teeny, patent alert strategy, trying to see if he can find a separate angle, trying to see if he can get that closing shot onto Clix or Higgs. But for right now, the leverage sits entirely with Higgs and Clix.
Yep, even though Shark and Teeny almost all but qualified here to Sunday, you can kind of see why. They're just trying to shut down Clix and Higgs, not let them feel comfortable, get them out of the game early so that way they have a much harder chance making it through the lower bracket and eventually possibly contesting them. So it's really going to come down to how much Shark and Teeny want to continue to put this pressure down. On the flip side, though, for Clix and Higgs, I was talking to a couple of the co-streamers myself, from Boob to Faxity and Ozzy, to where it's like, what does Clix and Higgs need to do? And right now, we kind of all were agreeing. You either need to fight Shark and Teeny, or you just need to run away. And right now, it looks like they're going to fight Shark and Teeny.
Absolutely. They do have the position as they currently kind of get out from the boxes that they have been sitting in for so long. They now officially have the higher ground. Patini's looking to take the fight to Clix. He gets one shot in, gets a shot on the Higgs as well. He's done so much damage, and they've got the advantage, but Clix does get a little bit of a return shot. That's going to be 58 damage towards his way. Shark's going to have the advantage right now. He's going to be coming over with the spray. Clix is looking a little bit lost. He has no materials to work with. He's going to be playing zero build as he does get knocked.
The problem there is that Clix is looking one way, but Shark and Teeny, they've got him straight in the middle, and Higgs, only so many options remain here currently because Shark, he's immediately trying to get on the impressive one more time, 100 pump, and that's going to do it. Higgs trying everything in his power to escape, but it's Clix who gets pickaxed in those final moments. Clix and Higgs have left the lobby so early in Game 4.
Salt on the wounds, the pickaxe into the emote. Again, Shark and Teeny are in a situation where they literally almost have nothing to lose. They are so far inside of that top 25. They need multiple games of going down off spawn. Even in the replay, Clix gets caught out of position by himself. And Higgs, even though there was an advantage in terms of HP, he just tried to lurk. They caught him through the builds and then eventually pickaxed him back to the lobby.
Pain.
Man, my reaction was if I had just eaten a sour candy. So brutal to kind of watch that one happen. Still 2 opportunities left for Clix and Higgs. Let's hope for the best there as we're taking a look at some of our other teams around the map. Reet and Cooper, Carillion and Jargo still up here towards the north. The Storm is going to be playing a part of this as it currently stands, but they're happy to kind of chill out and hang out up here.
Carillion also definitely very content to get this first knock onto Ritual, but he's not finished. He's still looking to keep everything pushing forward. And Carillion, while we will take a moment to sit back, Agers gets put into the dirt there. Double elimination pickup. It is a very quick start for some of these teams.
Yeah, this is almost like a Cinderella story for Jargo and Carillion. They were literally almost not making it here. A few roster changes at the last moment, and it works out. They catch fire when they need it most. Thomas and Focus kind of doing the same things, landing over at Riptides. They usually make their way down towards the south, but this time around, they went up north just a little bit towards Squibbly Shores, and they're still finding the picks that they need.
Zico and Malabuca, yeah, they're getting all of Frigid Fortress to themselves, but they know there are some teams surrounding them to the south. FKS and Hero are going to be finding their early demise to a team that's not too happy. They're taking some loot in the surrounding areas. FKS just gets beamed in the open. Shields are all gone, and Vico knows exactly how to play aggressive. He knows the mechanics of Fortnite so well. He instantly gets in and finishes that one off.
And part of that was just a little bit of a hiccup at the starting point there for Hero and Bacchus. They were doing what they could to try and salvage their starting point. We know that Bacchus was left in that really awkward position to begin with, but they're not the only duo. It's kind of just looking up and seeing what's going to happen to this leaderboard development after Game 4. iDrop and Medius, they're dealing with Twy and Cringe currently, who are riding off the momentum of that third place victory royale.
Yeah, and right now, with our top 2 players in damage, Hold and Panzer, our top teams out of this lobby, this is going to allow for the players at the bottom of the leaderboard, right up to the middle, to get more points. Because those guys were winning games. They were siphoning them out with eliminations. But now Cringe and Twy, 119. It's not necessarily a battle for first. You only want top 25, but you also want to push your competition out. You want to beat them both in-game and mentally as well.
and establishing the idea that, yeah, I was kind of mentioning around 50 points was that 25th place, and that's at the halfway point. So we've just kind of doubled that over the course of the next 3 games. You can kind of expect that threshold to be around 100 points. And look at this, just a patented strat from Veno and Curve. Anybody that finds themselves anywhere north, near the southwest side of the map just gets lurked on. His focus is going to be on the receiving end of that one.
And the big thing here, the one word that's sticking out to me right now is what Levin highlighted on the desk, conditioning. Curve and Veno, they haven't necessarily ran the same thing back twice, but they are trying to condition this lobby to not be able to anticipate where it is they're looking to set up base. They're pushing out into Riptides, they're pushing the south sections of South Boulevard, and it's just very difficult for these teams to find their footing and focus. Thomas, the strong competitors, but Veno is just going to immediately send the lights out there for Thomas. They're now waiting to see whether or not they even are aware of the fact that Darm and Demus are nearby.
Yeah, Darm and Demus probably watching the feed. Thomas, Focus, they go down. Well, that's Riptides. They immediately made their way on over, and they're pulling a play out of the Veno playbook. They're lurking on Curve and Veno. They're just trying to make sure that if they make a mistake, they're going to be there to answer the call. And you can see, when it comes to materials, they're good. It's the bandages that worry me out of Darm, and you can see why he's even kind of rotating on over to Riptides. They wanted the mending machine, but they get damaged. That's the cherry on top.
And that's all they were really looking for. You could see how long they waited for Curve and Veno to kind of retreat, for them to actually go ahead and open up the shots right there. They didn't really want them to be close. They were just interested in getting some of that damage. So the eliminations were not really on their mind, just kind of playing it safe and making sure they can kind of find themselves in the end game. Veno and Curve got to be feeling pretty good about how they are doing so far in this game. And Sky and Scro, as pointed out by the man himself earlier on, continuously find themselves in bases around Battlewood that are just up on these little hills over here, right? All they're interested in doing is just getting as many tags as they possibly can without taking any damage.
Still going to take some time.